We might be up for a 60-metre launch at some point.
He's certainly got the journey. Rivers, Caleb Daniel makes it uncomfortable for him. Campbell emerges with it. Sharp, the former Lion, with the first meaningful shot on goal, and it's a successful one. The snap from directly in front gives Melbourne the first.
He finds a way to find space.
Cozzy Pickett maybe took on one too many, but he did just lean under the tackle ever so slightly, and it was high.
Cozzy's going to be unreal to watch.
Seems like he's got every tool to be maybe the most damaging small forward in the comp, and that's one of them. How's that for a finish from just outside the arc? Gets the quick response for the D's, puts them back up by 5. Fence just lasers one out, but it's just a bit errant. McDonald read it best off the boot in front of Jefferson. They can go inside forward 50 again. Powell deep, and Curtis read it beautifully off hands. There's a whistle. Advantage paid, and the goal will count to Curtis, who levels it up at 2-2 apiece.
Inside 40, and most times he's going to make the most of it.
That's a different look about Melbourne. Slick hands in close. Cohesion moving the footy by hand, and they've got themselves inside forward 50. Oliver continued on with the job, and they continue to put pressure on North Melbourne's defence. Caleb Daniel scrounges to kick out, which has been turned over by Turner. Billings, with barely any daylight, bounces it through.
Touches, and the club have openly said this guy is not going to be a high possession player.
Yeah.
He's going to be an impact player. That's the kind of guy he's going to be for the team. So, and they are really spoilt for choice through that midfield.
Gee, Costanti was in a one-on-one, but just did enough to keep the two defenders out of it. Daniel just able to saunter to the top of the arc, and he kicks his first goal in North Melbourne colours, albeit in match simulations.
You know, just for lack of key position stocks, probably when they had a few, you know, Griffin Logue still coming back from his knee injury.
Gave away the 50 by the looks of it. That brought Darling all the way inside. That's a long 50, I've got to say. So Darling now looking to make it a 2-point lead in favour of the D's. A little hop, skip and a jump, as we've become accustomed to the West Coast Premiership player. And we've also become accustomed to him being a very good finisher. And that's exactly what we see there. His first goal in North Melbourne colours. He could be a really exciting element inside forward 50 for the D's. Oh, it all sort of got a bit too big there for Turner. Squeezed out the back while Woden stayed down and just skillfully snaps that through. Pick 3 in his draft year. He's had that year where it was cruelled by glandular fever, and then a few other things have gone against him. Nothing going against Melbourne here. Clayton Oliver's surged forward, unselfishly shares it. Sharp got there first in the first quarter, gets there first in the third quarter. Couple for the former Lion.
Strong and experienced.
It's a tough nut to crack with those names you mentioned. Yeah,
it is, but he's got some attributes, Jed Adams. He's got height, he's got speed. It's just whether he can put it together more consistently at VFL level, and then maybe he gets an opportunity if there's some injuries.
They got it all the way through the centre square by hand. A scrounging kick, which is taken really well from Jefferson on the bounce. Looping handball over the top. Sharp this time on the left. He's got 3. Off it up, was looking for Darling. Laurie just tapped it down. Pickett in space is a dangerous proposition, and that's why.
A couple years, but he's a great player in terms of being able to use his strength and body size to get off and get some space on the lead as well.
Looking for his first major of the morning from 40, and you said that he's a very good set shot. He'd missed out earlier, pushing one across the face, and he won't miss out here. They've definitely had the better of the quarter. 4-1 in this quarter for Melbourne. Finesse from Sheasel. Now Phillips just happy to share it around short at the minute. Powell. That's going to be very good. So Dylan Stevens on for his first run. He got it to McKercher. And courage shown to stand his ground and to take the mark with bodies bearing down is Paul Curtis, who was collected at the last moment, gets the 50 as well. And I'm just waiting to see if there's anything else to come out of that. I didn't have the Bushnells up to the eyeballs. I don't know how bad that actually was.
I've been here before. I know what I'm doing, and I can do it. You expect nothing less of someone like Aidan Johnson, who's been fighting a lot of years to get this opportunity.
Oh, this will break for Powell. He latched onto a low torp and got the kindest of possible bounces to get the first of the quarter. So he's limping even when he doesn't have a leg injury. Is that what you're saying, Benny?
It's just his way of movement.
You'd always say, "What have you done?" Nothing. This is just how I walk.
And then he'll jump over and take a hanger on top of you.
Oh, speaking of hangers, on cue, Ben Brown teed it up, and Disco Turner delivered. Service to Matty Jefferson, rather.
That's wonderful. So it can really differ at different clubs, and running capacity and probably the legs that these Melbourne players have.
Here's Lindsay. Spearing pass across the face of goal, and that's just
Mark, and it's probably that, having played behind the ball for periods, he's really strong in that kind of one-on-one situation.
Goes to the check side and check that box. He's done it perfectly. That's his first goal. Well, of what was a morning start.
It's been a big part of that. He'd have perhaps 4 or 5 clearances at this point in the last quarter.
Oh, Constanti overran it, and Harry Sharp didn't. And as the name would suggest, the finishing today has been 100% that. He has been sharp as your best kitchen knife. That's 4 for Harry. So time will beat everybody here, Laurie, inside forward 50, and that will do us for this match simulation between North Melbourne and Melbourne at Arden Street. Melbourne by over 40 points in the end.